Hello, you all. Welcome back to my channel. This is Divine Eyed Missy Tarot, back with another general reading for my beautiful and handsome collective. How are you, collective? Hope you guys are doing awesome. I know I am. So I've already, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Mwah. Hugs and kisses to all of you. Thank you for your likes. Your shares, definitely your subscribes, your likes, you guys. I already pulled a few cards, and actually I did this reading and I meant to post it yesterday, but I had some stuff come up, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it was for a reason, because a part of it, you know, kind of resonated with something I ended up coming across that, you know, made me look more into this reading. So now I'm posting it now, okay? Recording it now. I didn't earlier yesterday, but like I said, I had some things in my schedule that came up, all right? So the first card out is, and I'm gonna tell you what part of the reading I feel like, you know, was not a coincidence, but it also, you know, may not be, the whole reading may not coincide with what I'm going to say about this particular part right here. All right. But the first card out is regret not working things out with you. Man or woman. So this is, you know, when I asked the question of like who this is, could possibly be a Capricorn with the Three of Pentacles, but this is somebody that feels as though they saw you as somebody that, you know, they could make a focused effort with, like growth and learning, you know, things of that nature when it comes to recognition. Like you or somebody, you know, they recognize, you know, you as somebody that they give recognition to when it comes to them, you know, knowing that you were the person that they could have, you know, seeing themselves working things out, you know, a team, you know what I'm saying, giving you an offer. But after I clarified that, you got the Ace of Swords that came out with the Ten of Swords. So after getting some clarity to make a sound decision, you know what I'm saying, like you, Ten of Swords, something like there was maybe possibly a betrayal that caused the ending. It may have been necessary, but that may have, you know, come at a time where Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, you know, you got some, you know, answers. Maybe you wanted some questions answered, you know, as to what was going on, and that was the justice in the situation as far as, you know, you getting, you know, Ten of Swords, like getting the answers, the clarity you needed to make a sound decision, you know what I'm saying? And it could be, you know, them getting some clarity to make a sound decision themselves when it came to them, you know, seeing how you wanted something. You know, oh, it may have taken you a while to like get past this or get into this Ten of Swords. Because it's 10 swords, you know what I'm saying? It's no telling how many, you know, times you gave somebody the benefit of the doubt, you know what I'm saying? But this is, you know, a lot of deep wounds, you know what I'm saying, that may have been over a period of time, and this may have been, you know, the last cycle you had to close out with someone, you know, after making a sound decision, like getting some clarity. And especially when they got some, you know, knowing that you got some to make it. The next card out is Dark Warlock. Knows they know you're not coming back. This Dark Warlock knows they see you not coming back. They see it. High Priestess, like they see it. And they could be very intuitive, you know what I'm saying? They could be, you know, somewhat, you know, aware of your abundance, you know what I'm saying, your independence, where you don't really need, you know, to have to use your gifts for dark, you know, or manipulate a situation or a person, you know, to have, you know, the goodness that surrounds you. Nine of Pentacles. You're already self-sufficient, you know what I'm saying, very independent, abundant, you know, is, you know, as above, so below. But this Four of Pentacles came out, you know, clarifying, you know, another reason why they know they not gonna see, they don't see you coming back. And this is them, you know, with that fear of change and they fixed ways, beliefs, but they held back. They held back. Like, even if it was, you know, them possibly just being afraid of change, like that fear of like what could happen, you know, if they do decide, you know, to take a leap of faith, or, you know, go discover the unknown, you know what I'm saying, to get some balance, you know, about, or get some answers when it comes to them possibly doing something the right way. Maybe this is their go-to, you know what I'm saying, to use their gifts for dark, but they do have gifts. But at the same time, this is somebody that, you know, needed to feel like they were in control at some point of that connection, or if there would be one. But that's not, you know what I'm saying, they can penny pinch, but you still were abundant. They could have breadcrumbed you, but you still abundant. Like, they not stopping nothing. So it's nothing that they had going on that you needed, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, to be with them for, you know, other than just because you desired this person, or you had some type of, you know, attraction to them or interest in them, you know, for who you felt like they could be, or who they, you know, came or appeared to be at the time. You got the Chariot and you got the Ace of Wands. So this is, you know, them possibly wanting a new beginning, or they see that you are, you know, going towards that with the Chariot, like dealing with, you know, whatever those situations is, or facing, or this is them. Cancer energy. Like, somebody's facing whatever issues they may have had, you know, when it came to how they saw things, or how they felt like, you know, they may have had other people, you know, around them, you know, that they possibly were able to control. But when you resisting change, it doesn't make whatever you working on look like you in control. Like, whatever it is, this person didn't have any self-discipline. You know what I'm saying? They had no, I would say self-love, but it's the fact that somebody really now is looking at moving forward, like going on this journey. And even if it is you, collective, it's the fact that somebody knows that they have to accept the fact that whatever they have to work out, or whatever connections or cycles they needed to clear up, clear out, or whatever the case may be, like whatever they know is going to come with, that's some challenges they're going to have to face. But I feel like at that, you know what I'm saying, that's what it is required if they want something new, you know, to happen. And I feel like they know you had to make a decision, you know what I'm saying, as to why you needed to move forward, or whatever they felt like, you know, was holding you, you know what I'm saying, with them at the time. But they can't really say that you know, didn't have what you needed. You have, you know, everything you need. You know what I'm saying? You, like I said, they could have breadcrumbed you, but I mean, you already self-sufficient. You already independent in your own right. So you may not feel like you have a whole lot at the time when you walked away from this dark warlock. They could be, you know, somebody that normally, like I said, use their gifts for dark, but they usually probably manipulate that to a degree with this Four of Pentacles, with that need to control. Instead of them changing, they'll change you. And if that don't work, then they ain't got no other choice but to work on themselves at some point with the Chariot. So at the end of the day, I mean, there's a lot of determination, and they see that you have it. A lot of ambition, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, people you need to clear out, people you need to walk away from, things you may need to forgive yourself for even putting up with, a whole bunch of shit with this Chariot. But doing what you need to do to continue moving forward, you know, for what you know you deserve. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you got a passion for. So this person could be under judgment right now, with the judgment out here, when it comes to them being made aware, you know, possibly, you know, asking for forgiveness now for how they abused their power, how somebody, you know, may have manipulated a good person, you know, when it wasn't necessary. Like, they may have had that opportunity to make something right, you know what I'm saying, to go toward their inner calling, but they may have, you know, chose a dark path, you know what I'm saying, some dark activity or some misdirected activity instead, you know what I'm saying, first. So now they having to go and find those things about themselves, like rediscover themselves, like find new ways, other things to find enjoyment, you know what I'm saying, cheerfulness, excitement in, other than, you know what I'm saying, doing the shit they were doing, or thinking that that was, you know, something that was okay, as long as don't nobody know, you know what I'm saying, but they under judgment. First, middle, last initial D can be significant, whoever this reading resonates with. First, middle, last initial E can be significant. These names can be significant. Eva, Earl, Ernest, Ian, Emily, Eric, Erica, Eddie, Ernest, Eden, Ellen, Ethel, Ethan. But first, middle, last initial E can be significant, collective. The next card needs to get a DNA test. And this is the card I was talking about that some things came up with, so I'm going to make it quick. Like, someone needs to get a DNA test. And the questions were, you know, who is this that needs to get a DNA test and why? So the moon came out first, where there's something hidden, like somebody, you know, trying to keep somebody confused, or, you know, trying to keep something that's hidden, you know, to remain a secret. You know what I'm saying? Or make them, you know, kind of confused in their thoughts of how to see something. Manipulating, you know, how they may have questions, you know, when it comes to what they feel like it's, you know what I'm saying, like not being said, but they may be having some curiosity questions, you know, about whoever this is. And it's in Pisces energy. You got Cancer out here as well with the Two of Cups. But this is like somebody, you know, making someone question their intuition, or them not trusting their intuition. When I asked, you know, who needs this DNA test and why, the moon came out, then the Two of Cups to clarify the moon as the why. And this is like, you know, an entanglement. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that may have had, you know, some type of romantic entanglement. Like somebody, you know, that may not have supposed to been together, but they were. You know what I'm saying? They may have, you know, had some type of connection with somebody, you know, that maybe was not known to, you know, whoever somebody is at the time. Like there was a third party. You know what I'm saying? So it's some type of romantic entanglement. Like somebody may have had something else going on, and they did. But that, I'm giving you the energy that was going on in the reading when I did this. All right. But I was asking, you know, about the DNA test specifically. And the Seven of Pentacles, 777 could be significant. Somebody could be born in 77. But these two cards came out, the Seven of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords in reverse. So there's some results, some planning, possibly some test results that is causing some type of truth to be revealed with the Seven of Cups in reverse. I mean, the Seven of Swords in reverse. So these Seven of Pentacles is like, you know, somebody looking for results or waiting for something to come in. And I'm going to tell you, you know, what happened when I got to this part. Then I clarified you got unhealed triggers out here too, was the last card that I clarified. This part of this reading with the needs to get a DNA test. The reason why I ended this reading, you know, when I laid down. And when I laid down, I was like just browsing through my phone or whatever, and I came up on this story with two stories. One was on Kanika Jenkins, and the other one was on Jackie Christie and Chris Webber. And the story, you know, was about, you know, two friends that played basketball together. And I remember Chris Webber being a, you know, a big time ball player at the time when I was in high school. And at the time I had like a summer job at McDonald's, and like I fried cartons, our cups, and a lot of things had those, you know, that team that Chris Webber played on. All-American, I think it was All-American. We even had like an All-American meal for those that remember McDonald's having that. And it was like what you have now as a biggie bag or a $4 bag or something like that. It was like an All-American meal. I think it was like $3 or $4. But you got a small fried burger, you know, and a small drink. So it was around years ago, you know what I'm saying, before anybody started doing, you know, like meal deal bags and stuff like that. McDonald's had one years ago when they first started doing that. And long story short, I'm looking at the story, and something told me to go and look the situation up as far as the zodiac. Like, so I'm looking into the story and stuff like that, and I looked over here at the reading, and I'm like, damn, let me go see what the zodiac is. So I looked up the two guys, and Chris Webber and his homeboy, that was a long time, teammate. I want to say ball player too. They may not have been on the same team, but Jackie Christie married a ball player with his last name Christie. I don't remember his first name. But I do remember Chris Webber. But Jackie Christie and her husband are both, very light complected. Chris Webber's dark, chocolate, brother. Child, I went and looked their zodiac up, and one was a Taurus. I want to say Chris Webber was a Taurus. And his homeboy is a Pisces. Or it could be vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Switch, So I thought about the reading, and I was looking at how they were saying that all this time, people were like, all this time, you've been cool with this dude, you've been around his girl, his wife, and now his daughter done got to the age she is. And so I'm listening to the story, and I'm saying, I'm knowing Chris Webber done said something to her, over the years, when they done, in secret or even in text or talking, and his homeboy looking like, no wonder you've been, by my side all this time, all these years, because you've been wanting to be close to this girl, this daughter. But I'm knowing he done went back and forth with Jackie about, hey, is that my daughter? You know what I'm saying? Especially when she found out she was pregnant. And they may have, came to that conclusion of, not saying anything, or her trying to reassure him that, the moon, that, it's not his, or she didn't know. But not, the fact that the child is born and is growing and stuff like that, and people like, but look at her complexion. Trust me, you got two very dark people will make a very light skin, almost, light bright baby. But if you know genetics, I know in science we talked about, chromosomes and all that stuff, and how, people come about having, the blue eyes or brown eyes, black hair, brown hair, stuff like that when we was in high school. So some genes can be dominant, very dominant, depending on, the parents, you know what I'm saying, and they DNA, you know what I'm saying. But y'all, I jumped up and came over here and looked, and I'm like, damn. Especially with this Two of Cups, I'm like, bruh, don't tell me that. And I believe that's their only child, to be, that may have spooked the shit out of her, you know what I'm saying, that she didn't really know with the moon. Or she was, trying to keep, her husband confused, even if he questioned her, or even, how some people like, man, you so tight, man, my daughter look like you. Or, you know what I'm saying, she, something like that, you know what I'm saying? Because people tend to, feel like, one person or certain people in their family, tend to take features and stuff like that. And it's not uncommon, it's not unheard of, you know what I'm saying? That, they may have gotten into it, or people saying, man, my wife couldn't stand you when she was pregnant. Now, my little girl kind of looked like you. You know what I'm saying? They don't think much of it. But, it could have been a daughter, you know what I'm saying, that felt like, a disconnect between her and her dad. Because that's what this, at the bottom of the deck, when I did it, when I finished this, was the Four of Cups. So it could have been like a disconnect, you know what I'm saying, between, whoever, the parent, and the child is at this point. Like, they may feel like a disconnect. Like they don't connect with them or something like that. Like they may, as they get older, realize or feel like, we don't have nothing in common. You know what I'm saying? I have something in common with my mom, yeah, but not so much with my dad at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that story, made me think of this part of the reading. All right. So that's why I was like, damn. And even when I did the reading, I'm like, damn, we need to get a DNA test. And then, you know, I got that nudge to, like, you know, just browse through my phone or whatever before I actually posted the reading or recorded it. And so I just, you know what I'm saying, laid down and was browsing through my phone or whatever, and just killing time, you know, till I got ready to go. But I was like, well, when I get back, you know, I'm going to go ahead and record the reading or whatever. But that story, you know what I'm saying, and listening to, you know, the bits and, you know what I'm saying, the parts of it and reading it for myself, reading up on it, I was like, damn. And I guess it's a more recent thing going on too, because it's not an old story, I don't think. From what I gathered, it wasn't an old story. It's something that's just coming out. So this daughter, you know, is older, much older now. Because I know shit. Yeah, that daughter much older now from what I saw. So, and that was the time, you know, that daughter, you know, was saying something about, you know, or being questioned about how she felt about it. But anyway, yeah, but somebody, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, but one of them, Chris Webber, I think, was a Taurus. Or the other guy, the Christie guy, his last name Christie. I think he a Taurus. I think Weber is a Pisces, or it could be the other way around. But yeah, I was like, damn. But yeah, these test results, 7 of Pentacles, could have been some planning or something like that, where somebody was trying to get like some test results or something. So he may have, you know, been around their daughter or something like that, and got some type of cup or something personal of hers, and went and got it tested to find, you know, out. Or maybe, you know, Jackie did it, you know what I'm saying, for her own, you know, knowledge. But there are some results that, you know, that somebody was waiting on. Somebody was waiting on results. I don't know if it was the Christie guy or, you know, Weber. But whatever it is, it's like, you know, some results, you know, coming in, like somebody waiting on some results. And like I said, the 7 of Swords in reverse talks about, you know, confessions, truth being revealed and stuff like that. So, but you got unhealed triggers. Whoever this is that got these unhealed triggers, like this is somebody, you know, that possibly equally feels the way they feel about you. The way you feel about them, they feel about you. You got the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups that came out. So when it comes to them, you know, them two like coming out together, you know, it's like your defense, your strong will, Leo, with this 7 of Wands, triggers like somebody insecurities. Or with the 5 of Pentacles. Somebody, I feel like, you know, it's this Queen of Pentacles. I mean, this Queen of Cups. An empath, a nurturer, you know what I'm saying? Very strong, very wise. But I feel like that triggers somebody, especially like if you are defensive, you know, towards, you know, people that probably, you know, may have came at you a certain way or something like that because of maybe your financial loss, or maybe you wasn't doing so well. Maybe you know, were struggling at the time. You know what I'm saying? Possibly living in a hotel, or you were living in your car, you know, in between jobs and stuff like that. So you may have some unhealed triggers that, you know, may have, you know, caused, you know, some things to make you defensive towards somebody, you know what I'm saying, or have to stand your ground. But I'm getting like your strong will, you know, your defensiveness, like, you know, to stand up for yourself when it comes to this is, you know, doing what you think is right. But I feel like, you know, this is like, you know, somebody saying, you know, I should have stood up for this person, you know, at a time when they were struggling and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And stood my ground, or, just doing what they knew to be right, you know what I'm saying, and being, but I feel like your strong will, your ability to, you know what I'm saying, to stand up for yourself, like be defensive, like having your guard up. It's like it triggers somebody's, insecurities. It makes somebody feel as though like they, especially with this 9 of Pentacles out here, and somebody knowing they don't see you coming back. It's like somebody possibly, maybe chose somebody else over money, you know what I'm saying? Or thinking, whatever it was that somebody else had, or the fact that they didn't have what they felt like they needed or something like that was okay to, I ain't gonna even say okay. It's like whatever they were insecure about, could have been about their money. It could have been the fact that they were dealing with abandonment issues, you know what I'm saying? Like they may have been in connections where, they get thrown to the curb, or they end up, let's just say they move in with somebody and that person end up putting them out. The minute they fall out, they put them out. And maybe that person done had they run with that. But it's like, whatever it is that they know you respond to, or however you respond to things, or however, it's like your strength, your strong will, you know what I'm saying? It triggers somebody's insecurities. Like they may not be as confident as you. You know what I'm saying? And they may have taken this Knight of Cups like a while to follow their heart, to go with what they, you know what I'm saying, what they've been dreaming of, like their hopes, their dreams and stuff like that. Like it may have taken them a lot of courage, to do that. But your strong will may be, something that triggers someone, when it comes to, what they feel like, they don't have, or they lack, you know what I'm saying, thereof, like lack thereof, like they say. Like you may not know that, but I feel like whatever it is that exudes, you know what I'm saying, strength and courage about you, it makes somebody else feel, especially like if you come off as abundant, like you can get whatever you need, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to ask this person for anything. You probably never really did. But even that alone would make somebody feel as though, if they don't have anything to offer you and you ain't asking them for nothing, like they feel like you saying, it's like somebody saying, you too good for my money or something like that, or you must think I ain't got no money or something like that, or you don't think, I can, especially if they can't control you with that. Like if you do most of the shit for yourself, like can't nobody tell you you can't have this, or you're gonna have to wait on that, you know what I'm saying, and you not know why. But I also feel like, because of what somebody been through as well, getting that too, that you are very defensive, you know what I'm saying, you keep your guard up, mainly because a lot of people may have like tried to, or looked over you, or may have, you know what I'm saying, played you to the left, all because you were struggling at the time. You weren't doing so well financially. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel like somebody may have, had to deal with some financial loss behind, whatever low, you know what I'm saying, moment that somebody was in, especially when it came to, how they felt, like insecurities. It could be financial, it could be, you know what I'm saying, emotional, it could be social, you know what I'm saying, it could, like I said, it could be abandonment issues where, somebody just, you being defensive, being strong-willed or whatever, and standing up for what you know to be right, like standing up for yourself, is like, you can come off as defensive, you know what I'm saying, because of what you done been through. That's either for you or for this person. Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a masculine, possibly in their feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? Because of some of the things that they have not worked on, you know what I'm saying, or haven't mentioned or talked about. But that's the reading, collective. overall, hopefully the message resonates and or is helpful. But yeah, I had to, get y'all the spiel on the needs to get a DNA test. But it's, Pisces with this moon and Cancer with the Two of Cups. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But this is about, an entanglement. That's before I even saw, that story. But something just moved me to go look at they zodiac up or whatever. But yeah. Somebody could be awaiting or they, some test results, but the truth will be revealed at that time, with that. But this dark ass warlock child, they don't like that. I ain't gonna even say they don't like. They see that you are somebody that's self-efficient, abundant, or it could be the fact that they thought, not changing who they are or, breadcrumbing you and stuff like that, was a way, to kind of use that as a way to control you emotionally and things like that. And they may have seen that you noticed that too. But they see you moving forward. You know what I'm saying? They may have, been stuck in their ways and stubborn and shit like that, but especially if they know, you'd have made, like, some clear communication with them about what you expected, expectations and things like that when it comes to that need, to change or that fear of changing. But it's also, somebody just doing too much. I feel like even when they in their fixed ways, fixed attitude, the way they think or how they, like my way or the highway, but it's also, somebody not being flexible. Especially they feel like you stubborn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need you for this. I don't, what I'm saying? It is what it, it is what it is. And I feel like whatever it is that you hold, whatever abundance that you have about you, you know what I'm saying? That independence you have, that growth that you have around you, you know what I'm saying? It got somebody feeling as though, they're stubborn and, stuck in their ways and shit like that, seeing that you gonna continue to move forward with the Chariot. Like I said, your willpower, like your strength, is like somebody's, you know what I'm saying, intimidation, you know what I'm saying, issue. You know what I'm saying? Like they know you determined, you know what I'm saying, to move forward, like get past, a lot of shit that may have, been things, that you needed to walk away from or habits, you know what I'm saying? But this is self-discipline focus. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody sees that that's what's going on. And with this Ace of Wands, it's just about the fact there's like new opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Even if they want one with you, like they don't see you coming back. But I feel like this person I feel like at this point, this dark warlock, like it's like them being encouraged, like you being encouraged, to move forward. Like don't, you know what I'm saying? Now how sometimes you feel like, what if I make that decision and what's gonna happen after that? Like the universe encouraging you, you know what I'm saying, to move forward. Especially when it comes to, what you have a passion for. Even if it's them, like I said, like even if it's them. Even if it's this dark warlock, that's under judgment now, like when it comes to you working past something or them actually, wanting to go on this journey, you know what I'm saying, to work things out, just, with themselves. Because right up here at the top, you got the, like I said, the judgment in the page of wands. Like somebody's, you know, getting out, exploring, you know, being adventurous, but looking at them things, you know, looking within, you know, and going and getting out and discovering new things, you know, about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Go toward them things that you know, may have felt like was off limits at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like not like off limits, but just questioning it, like something that you may have been feared doing, like heights or something like that, or flying, or going on a boat ride, like water or something like that. Like go get out, you know, make plans, but go find those things that make you happy. Go discover them things about yourself in ways that you know, allow yourself to find happiness, you know, within. Instead of thinking that, you know, it's in money, it's in, you know, how you control people with your money, or how you control or being afraid of changing, getting outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Think outside the box. You know what I'm saying? Do, you know, what it is, or go in them places, or take that path, you know, that you ain't took before. You know what I'm saying? You never know what you find out, what you discover about yourself. That kind of thing. But they regret, you know, they didn't work things out with you. You know what I'm saying? Like they see you as somebody, you know, they could grow with, learn with, make a, you know what I'm saying, a good team together. But this clarity, you know, make a sound decision, you know, came to a 10 of swords, or this betrayal, or this overwhelming feeling, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, may have, you know, lied with you, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. May have caused you to get, you know, ask for some answers, you know, in order to make a sound decision in a situation. You know what I'm saying? And you 10 of swords something. Like I said, they wasn't expecting you to do that, but at the same time, you know, when it's over, it's over. Especially when you're looking at, you know, somebody not wanting to accept, you know what I'm saying, that they need to change anyway. But 10 of swords also talks about, you know, the root of a problem. Especially, you know, it's kind of like a bittersweet, you know, ending. All right, but overall, hopefully the message resonates in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Collective, this is Divine Night Mystic Tarot. Until next time, you guys, I love you. Bye. Mwah.